Shana Tova, everybody. I have what I hope is a very important message tonight. People suck, and nothing matters. No? Just take a look outside, take a look at the news, and you'll see that people suck, and nothing matters. In fact, my wife and I have been having this argument for years now, and she's always the one telling me, people suck and nothing matters, and I always fight her. I always try to convince her of the good of humanity, and tonight, as part of my Rosh Hashanah, I am surrendering to a power greater than myself, which is the wisdom of my wife. So this drosh is dedicated to her. And when I told her I was doing that and I was dedicating the drosh to her, she goes, "Aren't they all dedicated to me?" And I said, "Yes, you're right." So my job was to find texts and sources in our tradition to back her up. So first text, number 1, from the Talmud in Tractate Eruvin. The rabbis for 2.5 years were divided, the house of Beit Hillel and the house of Beit Shammai. One of them said, the world would have been better if mankind was not created. And the other side said, better for the world to exist with humankind. And they kept going back and forth, and finally they decided, okay, we're going to vote on it. And what did the rabbis of the Talmud say? Shockingly, it would have been better if we didn't exist. Proof text 1 to my wife. Okay? We'll come back to this. Number 2, the story of our creation. It says in Genesis, Na'aseh, when God creates man, Na'aseh Adam b'tzalmenu. Let us create God according to our image, after our likeness. And the rabbis are wondering, like, who is God talking to? Isn't there one God, right? Like, who are these people who let us create mankind in our image? And the rabbis in the Midrash, in the legends, say, when God was about to create the world, the angels argued with God, don't do it. The angel of truth rises up and says, God, they're a bunch of liars. Don't create them. And the God of Chesed, the angel of Chesed, argues with truth. He said, no, maybe they'll be liars, but they're going to do acts of loving kindness. But the angel of peace comes and says, no, don't do it, God. There's not going to be anything but war, conflict, and strife. And again, the angel of righteousness, of justice, of tzedek says, create them. So here we go. We have my wife, we have the rabbis, and we've got some pretty powerful angels saying, don't create the world. People suck, and nothing matters, right? But wait, there's more. King Solomon, the wisest king of our tradition, right? He had the greatest dynasty and the longest and the most peaceful reign, one of the wisest men. In his existential angst, in his treatise Ecclesiastes, he writes, Hevel havalim, hakol hevel. Utter futility, says Kohelet. Everything is completely useless. All is futile. What real value is there for man in all the gains he makes beneath the sun? Only that shall happen which has occurred, only that occurred which will happen. There is nothing new beneath the sun. I observed the happenings beneath the sun, and all I found is that is uselessness and chasing after the wind. My wife is right. Our tradition backs her up. We can look at the world and we can see all kinds of things and all kinds of destruction and chaos around us, and we can affirm the fact that there is a part of us that really sucks. And what's the really point of all this? What's the meaning of life? And the truth is, if we take that statement and that idea in these texts a little bit further, we get to the point where Kohelet is staying, where King Solomon says, "And so I despised life, for I was distressed by all that goes on under the sun, because everything is pointless and the pursuit of wind." It leads to despair. It leads to a place of, screw it, I just want to get high. I want to escape. I don't want to live in this world. Let's just, right? Eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we'll die. And there's part of me that wants to end the sermon right here. Walk off the stage and be like, deal with that for the rest of the year, because people suck and nothing matters, right? And I think that would be a little bit of rabbinic malpractice on my part, because part of my job is to bring some uplift, to bring some hope, to bring some meaning in the chaos and the utter futility of life. Because what are we doing here? What are we doing on Rosh Hashanah, where we're celebrating the creation of the world? I mean, why are you here? Are you asking yourself that question? Why did you come tonight? I mean, some of the residents, maybe they had to come. But even though you might have been told you need to be here, you still chose to be here. You still came to worship. You came to listen to prayers. You came to be in connection. Why? Why do we do this? And I think that's the part, the first half was just part of the story. I left out some of the details, because this is where my wife and I, while I might be able to convince her, maybe somebody in the audience might see things a little differently. Maybe there'll be a little uplift. Maybe we won't go down that road of despair too long. Because the first text, right, when the rabbis are arguing and they're saying, better off that the world would have been created, but without us in it, what they say afterwards, okay, now that we're here, yepashpesh ma'asav. One should examine their actions. One should look inward and see what it is we're doing. Because it's not that nothing matters. Our actions do matter, the rabbis say. They were asking the wrong question whether or not we should be created or not. We're here. So now what? What are we going to do? And in fact, this is what God says to the angels while they're warring and they're fighting whether they should do it or not. God hurls truth, the angel of truth, down to the earth and says to the other angels, while you guys are arguing, I did the deed. They're here. And there's an incredible power in that, because while the rabbis might not have faith in us, while the angels might not have faith in us, while King Solomon might not have complete faith in us, and my wife for sure doesn't have faith in us, God does. God trusts us. God says, I'm going to create you in our image, in the image of peace, in the image of truth, in the image of righteousness and of loving kindness, and you're going to make mistakes. But the interesting thing about it, in all of the creation stories, humans are the only creation that God does in partnership. Every other creation, let there be light, let there be fruits and trees, let there be animals. God does it by divine fiat. Only with humans is there a partnership. Is there a conversation? Is there an invitation to say that God says to us, I need you. I need you to build the world on my behalf. God can't do it without us. In fact, the word Adam, human, is just an amalgamation, I think that's the right word, of the word me'od, which means more, or very, or growth. And the truth is, God believes in our ability to grow. God believes in our ability to change, to partner, and to be better than we were yesterday and the year before. So yes, people suck. And yes, nothing matters. And the both and is that everybody matters, and every action we do makes a difference. That's what we do here. God has our back. The question is, do we turn our back to God, or do we partner? Do we go together with everybody here and we build the world that we want to see? At the end of Kohelet, the end of Ecclesiastes, when he's finally got out all of his existential angst, King Solomon sums it up. And this is the sum of the matter. When all is said and done, fear God, revere God, and observe his commandments. For this applies to all humankind, that God will call every creature to account for their conduct, be it good or bad. Today is a day of judgment. Today is our own eternal reckoning and our own internal accounting of our soul. Who do we want to be today? Who do we want to be this year? I hope this year we continue to rise up against adversity, that we're able to see ourselves with compassion, with love, to bring truth, justice, peace, and hope in the world, and know that everything matters. Shana Tova. So we have a song that you'll see, it's called Everything Matters, right? Hopefully we got to that, right? And you matter, right? Everything. And I wanted to make sure we had images of people in our community to showcase the incredible growth and transformation that this community provides. So take a look and listen as well.
What we do today, tomorrow remembers. The words we speak are stained like ink on a page. No story tried, no action invisible. Oh, what we do today compassion and hope. Help us to remember with an open heart and mind, everything matters. No story commonplace, words live forever. Guidance and hope are the foundation. With abundance, when we are healthy and free, help us to love and always remember grace and humility. Open our eyes to all that's around us, to see to what came before us. Sorrow when we're in pain, help us find courage matter.